together and take away. Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, you're very welcome. I'm Jane and my husband Mike does everything behind the camera. We're British, early retirees, we have no debt, we've paid off the mortgage, and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And you never ever let me down. There's always a comment somewhere, sometime that inspires me to come back and have a midweek money chat with you. And that is what we're going to talk about today, something that you inspired me with. And it was this. Some people said, I couldn't be frugal like you. I need to treat myself. And it suddenly made me think that, how do frugal people treat themselves? Because I think they do. And we're going to have a chat about that today. So let's answer that question. How do frugal people treat themselves? I'm going to be doing a lot of sharing my opinions here today, and that's all they are. They are opinions. There's no right, there's no wrong. We can agree with each other or we can disagree with each other. We're grown-ups. As frugal people, we think differently about what is frugal, what isn't, and that's okay. But I'm going to start off with sharing with you, and you really might not agree with me on some of these things, on all of the things that I do not believe personally are treats. I think all of the things that I'm going to mention now are just basic human needs. And let's start off with this one. Downtime. Downtime, sitting in the garden with your book, relaxing. I don't consider that to be a treat. That's a basic human need. All humans need to relax. I don't think anything to do with your physical well-being is a treat. I don't think going to the gym is a treat. I don't think if you choose to have one because it's the only way to motivate yourself, having a personal trainer is a treat. I don't think that anything that you do for your physical well-being is a treat. If you get really tense and paying for a massage that you've budgeted for helps you to relax, I don't think that's a treat. I think that is a basic human need. I told you you're not going to agree with everything I'm going to say today. Watching a movie, that's not a treat. Eating decent food, that's not a treat. Eating any food that's in your food budget, whether that's a packet of chocolate biscuits, an ice cream, or a steak, if it is in your food budget, and you haven't gone without fresh vegetables because you've got plenty left from last week, or you haven't gone without the basic things you need because you've got them in store, and you decide to spend your food budget on chocolate chip cookies and your favourite strawberry ice cream, those are not treats. They're food. They may not be what people would consider to be food that you absolutely must have, but they're food. It's still food. I don't consider going out for a walk with friends a treat. That's basic human need. We need love. We need companionship. We need company with other people. And if you feel the only way that you can socialize with people is in a coffee shop because you're so sick and tired of your own four walls, and you get out and spend within your budget a couple of coffees a week, I do not consider that to be a treat. I think that's basic human need for your health and well-being. If you can't pay your electricity bill because of it, that's different. But if you're budgeting for that, those are basic human needs. I don't consider those to be treats. I don't consider a picnic to be a treat. Going out, taking food with you that you've bought within your food budget for your home, from your home, and going out and having a picnic, I don't think that's a treat. I just think that's eating your own food somewhere else. Visiting your family, spending time with your friends, those are not treats. Those are basic human needs, really basic. Spending time with your partner, like I said at the very beginning, downtime, none of those are treats. anything that is to do with your physical health or your mental health or your needs of human survival are not treats. Feeding yourself nice food is not a treat. Looking after your dry skin by putting a moisturizing mask on it once a week is not a treat. It's meeting your basic needs. I'm going to be ready now for the stuff you're going to write underneath it, because we think they're treats. Like I said, I'm going to be sharing my opinions this week. I don't think that those are treats. And if you budget for those in any way in your budget, if your bills are paid, you've paid off your debts, you're paying your bills, I don't consider those treats. I consider those to be meeting your basic needs. Now I'm going to share with you my opinion, and that's all it is, my opinion on things I think are treats. I'm going to start off with one thing that I think is a treat and isn't a treat simultaneously. Schrodinger's cat, that sort of stuff, isn't it? In the box and not in the box, isn't it? And it's this one about beauty treatments. And I spend 25 euros a month having my face waxed. I am postmenopausal, and everything seems to be getting, my face gets hairier all of the time. And it is socially unacceptable for women to be walking around with a goatee beard. It just is. However, some things that are beauty treatments are treats and they're not treats. So you work for an airline, you've got a dress code that includes makeup and having nail polish on. Is that a treat? Isn't it a treat? I don't know. Jury's out on that one. But, and going away for a spa weekend, if you do it on a regular basis, is it a treat? Isn't it a treat? Jury's out on that one. Let me know. What do you think? Am I indulging myself, getting rid of my beard and my bushy eyebrows every month? What do you think? Some of the things that I think are an absolute treat, and I kept thinking today of things that would be an absolute treat that I would absolutely love to do once in a blue moon, and those are experiences. We are surrounded by birds of prey here, and I would love to meet some of those birds up close and personal, and you can have an experience to do that. Birds that are rehomed, or they've been injured or rescued, that's an experience. I'd love to do that. That's a treat. The next one I think is a real treat is stuff that I would call paid entertainment. Going to the theatre, going to the cinema, things like that. I think they are a treat. Don't forget, it's only my opinion. Buying anything clothing-wise that is absolutely not needed. So you know what I mean? You've got 10 pairs of jeans and you go out and buy 2 more. Is that a treat? Isn't that a treat? I don't know. Jury's out. Jury's absolutely out on that one. But to me, that would be a treat or an indulgence. The next one, I've got things here. And sorry to people with motorbikes and gadgets and stuff, but it would be buying another motorbike when you've really got a motorbike. Having more motorbikes or another car. That's a treat, isn't it? Collecting vehicles. People do it. And I know people who do it. I know them personally who do it. Different booze. Booze, I think, is a treat. And it is a treat I look forward to. Christmas time, a bottle of Baileys or a bottle of champagne. I mean, I know people who have a bottle of champagne because it's Friday. That doesn't feel like a treat to me. I want to save it for a special occasion. Meals in a restaurant. Meals in a restaurant to me is a treat that you save for your birthday, or your wedding anniversary, or something special to celebrate. I think it's a treat. And like I said, I'm sharing my opinions here. Takeaway food or ready-made food or things like that. In my opinion, that is a treat. It's gosh darn expensive, and it's not something that, I would want to budget for on a regular basis, but it is something that I would like to do once in a while, and it would be, for me, in my opinion, a treat. Body decor. people have a new tattoo for a special occasion. I'm just thinking like a birth of a child, a wedding, to commemorate a loved one who's died, and they have a tattoo. But then people start having tattoos because they got a promotion, or they I just think, body decor to me, don't forget, it's only my opinion. And if you've got 75 tattoos and they're all meaningful to you, they're meaningful to you. My opinion doesn't detract from that. But I just think having those things as a special should be a special thing. It's for a treat. Flowers. People used to have flowers when they had a baby, or flowers for Mother's Day, or flowers for a wedding anniversary, or flowers to say thank you to somebody like special, like the mother of the bride who's made the dress and the cake and stuff. But now flowers are just for sale everywhere all the time. I think they should be special. I think they should be a treat. And again, okay, it's just my opinion. That's all it is. And the next one I'm going to go on is about, I'm going to say sugary food. Like I said, I'm split on this one because, like I said, it's in your budget. You buy it from the supermarket. It's in your budget. Do you need to call it a treat? If you just buy it from the supermarket budget, I think I'm talking about specific things that are sold as sweeties, as candies. I think those things are specific treats. I remember the days when your mum would get a box of chocolates on Mother's Day and a birthday. You didn't see your mum eating sweeties and candies the rest of the time. And I think I've stayed with that. Sweeties and stuff like that for me are things for like Christmas and wedding anniversaries. They're not just for all the time. For me, and it's just my opinion, those sweeties, those candies, those sort of boxes of sweeties and treats and things, those are treats. Oh, you're not going to like the next one either. Oh my goodness, I am laying myself out there for criticism today. Here goes on this one. The next one I want to have a chat with you about is the frequency of a treat. And hear me out on this one, because this is my own personal opinion. For me, a treat is something that happens once in a while, once a year. Your birthday, once a year. Your wedding anniversary, once a year. Christmas. A treat is something that is infrequent and you really look forward to it. So you go on a holiday once a year, you've spent all year saving up for it and looking forward to it. It's not something that you do lots of times. And it's maybe you do it twice a year, but you've saved up for it. That's what makes it the treat. So for me, in my opinion, and for all it's worth, that's all it is. A treat isn't something that happens on a regular basis. If it's a regular occurrence, it's nothing special. So, and I'm referring back to colleagues that I had for all the years that I would work, would go out and eat every weekend. How is that special if you do it every weekend? They would have a takeaway midweek every week and say, well, you got to treat yourself, haven't you? You got to treat yourself. And I keep thinking to myself, how is that a treat if you do that every week? How is that a treat? So I just keep thinking about these things that, like I said, it's only my opinion. Just as I start talking to you, every car in the neighbourhood drives past. Never mind. So in my opinion, a treat is something that is infrequent. There's long gaps between them and you don't do them very often. What do you think? Is it a treat if you have it every week? Or is it a regular occurrence and then becomes nothing special? Is a treat something that should be special and savoured? So if you only go out and eat 2 or 3 times a year and you look forward to it and it's really meaningful to you, when you get there, it's special. And if it is special, it is therefore a treat. So there we are. My opinion on that one as a frugal person. A treat is not something that happens once a day or once a week or even once a month, because if it has a regular fixed part to it, then it becomes a regular occurrence. Now, the retired English teacher in me has talked about treats, as in the nouns treats. And now I'm going to talk about the verb treating, to treat someone. And it was quite interesting, again, from the inspiration of things that you've said to me, that some of you have said things like, if somebody does something for you, you give them something, you give them a treat, you give them a homemade cake, you give them flowers, you give them something. And I suddenly thought about, as a frugal person, or maybe as a British person, this is very different for me. And that we give of our time freely, and we don't expect anybody to do anything in return for us, or to give us anything, or to do anything for us at all. But it is quite common for some of you to treat other people. You feel you need to treat other people, and to give gifts as a treat, to give treats as a reward for an achievement, to give treats as recognition of something that somebody has done. And what you're doing, I would actually personally see as random acts of kindness. If you want to do something nice for somebody, you don't have to justify it as a treat. I just personally feel that. And like I said, I'm only talking from my personal opinion, and that's all it is. It's not saying what somebody does is right or what somebody does is wrong. And you don't have to agree with me, and I don't have to agree with you. We're grown-ups. Is that if you want to go and perform random acts of kindness for your family, for your friends, for the firefighters, for the police officers, for the teachers, for whoever in your neighbourhood, there doesn't need to be a reason why. If you want to put in a budget for random acts of kindness, and it's in your budget, and you're not leaving yourself short of money to pay your mortgage or your electricity bill, go ahead and do it. I just find this concept of treating someone who has done something for you, it's just different from the way I think and I feel. I'm very much of the belief that you do anything for anyone, whatever you can do for them, whoever they are, whether they are friend or foe, family or neighbour, whoever they are, if you can do something for someone, you do something for them. And you don't expect to be rewarded, nor do you feel that if somebody has done something for you out of the goodness of their heart, if somebody has performed a random act of kindness for you, they don't need payment. Let me know what you think about that one. I just think you can be kind. You don't need a box of chocolates for it. You don't need a bunch of flowers for it. And those things, like to treat someone for those things. If you want to give your grandchildren money, you don't have to feel like you're treating them. You just want to do it, you do it. If you feel you want to give your family money, you're not treating them. You're just doing a good thing. You're just doing a nice thing. So, yeah, it's tricky, that one, isn't it? I know you're going to disagree with me on that one. I don't feel that you need to treat someone, to give a treat to someone, to treat someone every time somebody does something nice for you. Just remember, all the payback for all of that, all of the time, comes in the fact that you're a good person and you do good things too. Okay, let's have a little chat about why some people feel the need to treat themselves. Let's start off with the first one, and the obvious one, is it's societal norms. That phrase is out there. Go on, treat yourself. And people are treating themselves literally to sometimes things that are harming them. I might be thinking about food that might not agree with their metabolism, thinking about alcohol, for example, or at least too much alcohol or regular consumption of alcohol. And I think it's difficult to fight that sometimes in a world of consumerism and subtle advertising, that all of the times you've only got to look at adverts for takeaway food or convenience food or any of those things. They are preying on your tiredness, they are preying on your busyness, and they're telling you that the answer to that is their product. So it's clever marketing. There's also the wider conditioning, isn't there, from your social group, your family, your friends, all of those people who may not have the control over their budget that some of us have that may not have a budget at all. And then there's the ones where, you know, we have to acknowledge, and I always say this, I am reflective and I do reflect upon this, that people with ADHD and autism struggle with management of impulsive behaviour, and the next thing you know, they've bought something else, or they've bought something they've already have, or they've bought something because it makes them feel better. And then obviously the last one is that we need to reflect on is lots of these are self-esteem issues, and people are trying to buy love, buy acceptance, and buy their place in the world. And with that comes that little incessant thing in your head about treat yourself, treat yourself. Let's talk about now how we, Mike and I, as frugal people, do treat ourselves. I want to start off with the philosophy that Mike and I share personally, and it's only our personal opinions. It's nothing that we're saying is right or wrong about this, is that for us, happiness for us is intrinsic, it's not extrinsic. And I'm going to give you an example. If I'm in a bad mood, a low mood, I'm feeling sad, any of those things, buying something will not change that mental or emotional state for me. So it doesn't make me feel better personally to buy a new coat. Secondly, we find our happiness intrinsically. So I do not need a reward. I do not need a sticker. I do not need anything. If I have worked hard and I have done a good job, that is the only reward I need, other than a thank you. It's all I need. The other part of that, and how we reward ourselves, how we treat ourselves so infrequently, comes from another part of our characteristics, is that we are cool about delayed gratification. We can go on holiday in April, eat in a restaurant when we are on that trip in April, and not do that again for another whole year whilst we save up again. And we're all right with that because we remember the good times that we had and the ones we're going to have next time. The next part about us and how we manage the treat yourself that doesn't filter into our heads is that we're really adults. We don't feel any childish, impetuous, impulsive feelings at all. There's never a time either of say to us, oh, I really want that and I've got to have it now. We can talk about the things that we want. We can look at how we can put that into a budget and we can wait for it. So, for example, we can wait to go out and eat until our wedding anniversary. That's fine with us. We can wait until a special reason or occasion like Christmas to buy sweeties, like a box of chocolates, or a treat like a bottle of champagne or a bottle of wine or a bottle of Baileys. We can wait all year till Christmas time for that. And we restrict ourselves on some things that we just know doesn't do our metabolism any good. We're not 21 anymore. We cannot metabolize sweet food or sugary food, or I would call snacky food. We can't metabolize that. So we know even if we wanted it, it wouldn't be a treat for us, that it wouldn't do our bodies. And don't forget, we're talking about us. It wouldn't do us any good at all. I'm really interested in your opinions today, and drop me a comment below. Hit the thumbs up, all of those things. Leave us a question, leave us a comment, all of those things about what you consider a treat or not a treat, and the frequency of a treat. And is it a treat or not if you have it on a regular basis? Do you agree with me or disagree with me on the first things that I said? That if it is something that is necessary for your mental well-being or your physical well-being, or it just meets your basic needs, Do you agree with me or disagree with me from the first points that I've raised, that those are not traits? And if money allowed it and you were to save up for it, what would you have as a absolute trait? I think I'll leave this with you. If I was to save up for an absolute treat, it would probably be an owl or birds of prey experience, because I see these birds. I've never been in close proximity to them. Let me know what you think of the chat we've had today, because I think there are these insidious consumerist earworms and ear drips out there all the time saying to people, treat yourself, treat yourself. And I wonder sometimes how some people are fending them off, because they are everywhere. Let me know what you think. We're always interested to hear from you. I'm going to go away. It's 8 o'clock at night here at the moment, by the way, and it's cooling down now. I might have nice cold ice water sitting in the garden. You have a good evening, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.